So next we would listen to the Most Reverend Kennedy Ojafi. And Reverend Kennedy is a community leader. He's part of the African Affairs Advisory Group. And he is originally from Ghana. And he shepherds the very large community from the Iwi Church, right? Iwi Church of America. And he also shepherds all of us. So he's a community outreach advocate. He's always out there working with the community, and he also has a background in psychology. So Reverend Kennedy, please, we welcome you to speak to us from your perspective as a pastor.
Thank you all for your time. You should have been on the beach now enjoying the beginning of summer, but you have made it here. I think it's worthy to be here. I think we have heard from the experts on mental health, but as the Imam said, the spirit in human beings controls what we do, the way we function, the way we respond to situations. And when you look at a mental ill or a mental health, someone with mental illness, we have different types. Some people will come to you because of the stigma we have from back home. We carry that baggage with us here. So whatever we face here, instead of facing the reality of it, we take it back home to look at what we left or behind, what we are going through. So someone will come, have not been sleeping, I'm tired, or I have a dream, and I saw so and so person telling me to do this and that. And going through conversation, you see that this person maybe for 3 days, or the landlord has issued him or her a quit order because not paying rent. So all these things have started to pile on him, then leading him or her to stress. Instead of telling you, this is my problem, it's my uncle back home because I came to America. And most of us are here with this type of situation, the environment, the change of environment affecting us. We don't want to open up. Some have issues back home before they came here. The depression started from home. But because they came here, they have developed a new aspect of thinking. That coming here has privileged them, so those behind are trying to pull them back. Instead of telling you the real issue, they go behind this, and sometimes they feel uncomfortable to tell you exactly the facts until you are able to build that confidence that, tell me, I'm here for you. It will remain in the office here. It won't go out. It takes time. But when they open up, you will see that the real issue can be solved. And they can be directed, can be referred to service centers, especially in Montgomery County. I was working with current Cornerstone Montgomery, which is a big mental health organization. It was first Threshold Services, and then Montgomery. You see, looking at this, many of the clients, they believe in the divine being, that with prayer, everything will be well. But honestly, if you have a wound and you are not dressing it and you are praying, the wound will never heal. And most of us pastors or spiritual leaders, especially back home, the problem we have is we think God, everything God, forgetting that you are the God for that person at that moment. So you have to direct that person to the right channel. But most of us pastors, we keep them, asking them to fast, to pray, whereas maybe the person has not been eating. So you are adding more pain to the injury that the person is having. So why not make the environment for this client? Ask him, you want to pray? Yes, it's good to pray. But there's another source which can build you up so that when you pray, God can hear your prayer. You have to see somebody to direct you. Talk about the food the person eats. Talk about the person's social issues. Because sometimes, as I said, people are depressed not because of anything, but because of change of environment, social issues, marriage, especially among the immigrants now. Domestic violence is one of the most depressive aspects that our community, because I'm working directly with the family justice center, I get a lot of information from there. So it is the challenge for us that let's create an environment. The service providers for those in mental or behavioral health, that when people come, tell them the truth, guide them, pray with them, but at the same time, tell them the right channel. Go and be seeking help, refer, or if possible, take the person there, because I'm afraid to go because of the stigma. I don't want to go to Pickard Drive because they will see me how it lies there. Or I don't want to go to any of the providing centers. But with you building that trust with that person, you direct to start taking counseling, taking treatment, and at the same time, you be the backbone to support spiritually. Let us not continue to tell people, oh, God will provide. Yes, God is providing. That's why he has provided avenues for doctors, psychiatrists, and other things. And we have to support these service providers, and then also being the first people that these people contact. Let's make them understand that going to a psychiatrist is not a sin. Going to see a specialist or a counselor is not a sin. It is just like coming to the pastor, coming to the mosque, coming to pray. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend. That was very powerful. He created you, so you got to take action. Thank you. So now I would like to invite a young lady that we love very much. She's going to come and talk to us. I wouldn't say much. What she would say would speak for herself, for itself. Nadia, please.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Before I continue, I'd personally like to thank every one of you for coming out here today, and those of you who made this all possible. I don't intend to keep you guys long. I only plan on giving you guys an idea, which is the idea that mental illness is very real and that it is important that we as a whole value mental illness and the maintenance and constant improvement of mental health for us all. Because regardless of whether you have an illness or not, everybody has a brain. We need to maintain ourselves. It's the most important piece, because if we're not okay up here, we won't be able to take care of everything else. So today I'm going to speak about my firsthand experience of dealing with a mental illness. I have chronic depression. I've been dealing with depressive symptoms since I was 8, and now I'm 15. One thing that I've noticed is that when you have a mental illness, well, for my experience, when you first tell people, either there's doubt or they just completely change the way they look at you and pin a whole bunch of other labels on top of you, even if it doesn't apply. And sometimes they tend to assume things. For example, one time at school, I used to go to the cafeteria for lunch, but I got tired of it because it felt forced. Because I'm more of an introverted person, so the people that I would sit with, I told them that, oh, I'm going to start sitting elsewhere now because it's just better off for me. And then they read that as, oh, she's about to commit suicide, and just the misunderstanding. Even though I communicated things clearly, their misconceptions blinded them. So it's kind of hard to educate somebody by yourself because they won't necessarily validate it. They'll mix it with things that they heard elsewhere, whether it's rumor or fact. Regardless of that, if you know somebody with a mental illness and they speak to you, listen. Just listen to them and what they're saying. Make sure you listen. Even though you might have something to say, just make sure that you listen. You may not understand, but just listening is the beginning, because you can't force your opinion or a relationship onto someone. You have to work together. It's a two-way street. You can't help someone if you're not willing to listen to that someone, you know? That's like entering a taxi and the driver is driving you wherever they want to drive you. It doesn't work that way. Another thing that I have noticed is that, so there's a lot of instances where people shame you for your behavior and they think you're using your mental illness as an excuse. Not everyone can, to some extent, they cannot control what they're doing. Sometimes I struggle with socially interacting with other people and I may come off as rude or uninterested, but it's really because due to how I'm feeling, I'm not able to show as much enthusiasm in my voice or maintain eye contact. Or sometimes I even have to be reminded to smile by my sister. But so just be patient, try to be understanding. And if you notice something's not okay with someone, it doesn't mean they have a mental illness right away, but just kindness is a key to pretty much everything. So make sure that you're that gateway to hope or an example of a caring, helping hand, or just be the light to someone. Even if they don't need your help, just kindness in general can bridge a lot of gaps. Many people that I've met before in several of my hospitalizations, they don't have that light. They may have a family, but their family may treat them like, oh, you're just misbehaving. They may have friends, but their friends may ignore it or give them the wrong advice or push them to do things that are more damaging than helpful. I've seen many young people, my age, even younger or a little bit older, who have so much potential and they're so bright, they're just amazing, but because of what people have shown them, they believe all these horrible things about themselves and they think that they are the problem and there is no solution. And they further isolate themselves, or they just think their role in this life is to be a problem, and it's not. So the only thing I want to leave you with today is that these mental illnesses are real, and the first and most important step in doing anything about it is to be kind, to listen, and to understand, or at least try to. Even if it sounds far-fetched, even if you're not sure of it, because not just for people who have depression, but even anyone can get suicidal. But when somebody hears that, they usually can't imagine why someone would feel suicidal because most people want to avoid death. If anything, they can't imagine dying. No one can really imagine how it's like to be dead because we just don't know. But you shouldn't shame the person for that or you shouldn't tell them that they're weak or be disappointed, because if anything, it takes a lot to tell someone that you're in that position, or to even think about it, because even though you may see it as, oh, they're quitting, they're giving up, at the same time, because dying isn't easy. So the fact that they would even go that length just to relieve themselves of whatever burden they're carrying, I'm not saying you should congratulate them, but you should just see that they are conflicted and the pain has pushed them that far, and just looking down upon them won't help them in any way. So just remember that kindness is the key. This is very real, and we should all work towards not fixing it, because even though fixing it is a good term, but it makes it seem like they're broken or something's wrong with them. I prefer to say improving, because you can always improve upon something, you know? So let's all try to be kind and help others to improve. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nadia. So last time we were here, Nadia said, when somebody breaks a knee or breaks a bone, everybody rushes to that person and they see it. Oh, you've got a broken bone. Take you to the doctor, help you out. They're kind to you. They want to help you. Everybody has empathy for you. And yet when you're emotionally, challenged, you're emotionally stressed out, you're going through this emotional pain, which could be even worse than a broken bone. And yet nobody sees it. And even when you try to say, I have this pain, I have this concern, I have a broken bone, I have a broken heart. And you don't get that much empathy or understanding. Could be an even, more difficult. And so that was very powerful. Just, trying for us to really put into perspective and to really see that this is real, and understanding it and not pushing it aside, not pretending it's not there, or also not even pretending we know about it, but just trying again. Kindness is key, being understanding and just listening. Sometimes that's all it takes and more. With that, I wish to thank everyone for being here today. And so thank you to Eric and to everyone.
So this project, we put in $200,000. If you're a housing nonprofit, apply for space, we funded up to sometimes 80-90% of the cost. As we all know, Silver Spring is a very high demand space.
Yes.
And we make sure that we're part of what the county executive wants to achieve, which is community engagement, making sure people are aware of our services. We will make sure you have access to space through the grant.
Yeah.
So again, thank you, Josephine, for your leadership. Thank you, Harry, for your leadership. We advocate every year, and that's why this year we're actually increasing it to $250,000.
And we're going to try to make good use of that. Thank you, Sombo. Thanks, everyone. Thanks to Eric, Mindy, and Justin for really, again, helping us, supporting us, and to make this possible. Please go out, be kind, talk to your friends and community members. Let's tap into the resources that the county has. We have from HHS some information that we brought through. Be a friend for somebody, and let's talk about mental health. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Carol, please send us the picture. I will. I can post on Facebook. Yes. Excuse me. Just a second. John Hopkins University is doing a study for African immigrant women. Yes. They're trying to get some funding for domestic violence. So if you're an African lady, if you're born in Africa, if you're 18 years and above, you are qualified for this study. So you'll be compensated $70 for taking part in this study. I have the information here. I can forward it to you. Please take part of this study so that they can make funding available for domestic violence. If you go to the shelters, they have African women in the shelters, as a result of domestic violence. So I'm going to pass this around, and please participate in it. Thank you.
So we're trying to raise awareness on mental health in our community, and I think we have to own it and we have to take, control of it so that we're able to reach out to our community members and have them come and understand what mental health is all about, so that we can take away the stigma from mental health, break the taboos, and make sure our people get the help and the support that they need.
Hello, and thank you for watching this informational session. My name is Carol, and my quick message is that we need to remove the mask on mental health and in our communities, especially in the African and Caribbean immigrant communities, so that we can reduce the stigma. The more that we're knowledgeable on mental health disorders and substance abuse disorders, we can decrease the stigma and increase overall population health within our communities. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rosemary Ogbabo, and I'm a faith-based clinical counselor and a life coach. I just want everyone to know that mental health is real. 1 in every human being has mental health, and it's very, very serious. And there is no stigma about it. We are made up of spirit, soul, and body. The soul is made up of mind, will, and emotion. When people are alive, they don't even think about the soul. But when they die, they say, oh, may the person's soul rest in peace. But when they were alive, where has that soul been? The soul has been everywhere. So as we take care of our physical being, let us take care of our soul. Thank you, and God bless.
Hello, my name is Dr. Akuya Asari, and I wanted everyone who's hearing my voice to know that having a mental illness is not a death sentence. It is not a crime. It is not a sin. It is, like many other aspects of life, the way things happen. And so you are important, and you matter if you are experiencing a mental illness. So if you have somebody in your family who has a mental illness, you matter. The whole family matters. That there is help, there is hope, there are people who are there for you to help you navigate, to help you understand, to help you improve your life, to be all that you were created to be. It is not a death sentence. It is hope.
So we started a mental health dialogue campaign in our community because we believe that African immigrant communities do not have necessarily the awareness of the mental health, and there's a huge stigma going around, and we thought this is something to address. That's why the African Affairs Advisory Group here in Montgomery County thought that this should be on top of the agenda. This is our second session we just completed, and we're very happy the community is talking about mental health. We are also talking about resources that are available, encouraging people to dialogue, making sure that this is not something that we are ashamed of, or this is not something that we can pray over without accessing the services. We also had a group of experts here who can break it down, so help us with that understanding and understand really how can we address the issues that we're facing that can lead to mental health breakdown or mental illnesses, so that together we can come and empower one another to be able to access the services, as well as also improving our health as a whole. Thank you very much all for coming. It's been a pleasure.